Welcome to an all-new edition of Fanlight Zone Presents. My name is Ken M. You know me as the host of the ODPH podcast. I'm also the editor-in-chief here at FLZ. To my left, you're right at home. He's one of our featured comic editors here and the host of 607 TWS, The Wrestling Show. Please give a warm welcome to Rich.
Yes, it is yet another week, yet another awesome interview, and I cannot wait for this one because this one is very exciting on a lot of different fronts. So go ahead, Ken.
Oh, absolutely. Ever since 2023, when the Devil's Cup was announced, and a new imprint came on the scene that revolutionized how we look at storytelling in the modern era of comics, dropping such amazing stories as Spectrograph, Gone, White Boat, just to name a few, and have continued to push the envelope of where comics is going in the future, not only in the print form, but in the digital market as well, because the new marketplace that you need to go for comics, manga, and more has really got the fans talking, and there is so much buzz about this. We can sit here and chill about it all day because we are users of this platform, but we want you to get more familiar with the people behind it. So please give a warm welcome to the founders, or co-founders, I should say, of Dstlry and Neon Ichiban, David Steinberg and Chip Mosher. Guys, what is going on?
Not much.
I don't know if I can top that intro. That was amazing. Yeah, can you do it again? My ego's feeling,
If you see us at Comic-Con, I can run on a stage quick and drop it for you. But obviously, the work that you both have been doing have really kind of got that reaction out of not just me, but a lot of the fan base too, and especially with what is going on in Neon Ichiban. Because I kind of want to dive into that a little bit because
happy to do it.
Yeah, how did this all come to be with that? And secondly, what is the story behind the name? Because that is such a great name.
Well, I think really when we both left Amazon and we had sold comics all to Amazon and worked there for 8 years, doing their worldwide comics and manga. It was at a point, it's kind of a low point in a lot of ways. We were being made to launch the revision of the app on the Kindle platform when we didn't feel like it was ready. And so I started working towards another business at Amazon and left after a couple of months because I just found it just a little too hard to get a startup started inside of Amazon.
Oh, stop. David's very humble. David pitched a new business to Andrew Jassy, the CEO of Amazon, and they gave him 150 employees to hire to build a new business that we can't really talk about otherwise. And then after 2 months, David was like, "This sucks."
Wow.
It was more like it'll take 3 years when it should have taken a year, I thought. And so I was like, I'm gonna go, and I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take a couple of months off and try to find the next entrepreneurial adventure. Because I'm a tinkerer at heart, and I love comics, obviously, but I'm a tinkerer at heart. And I thought, okay, I could do something else. And then here comes Mosher talking about doing publishing. And
so David sends me a text. He's like, "This sucks. I'm just beating my head against a concrete wall every day. Let's start a new business." And then I wrote, "I'm a little ahead of you. Read this."
Exactly.
Amazing.
And that was the base of Dstlry. And you would not believe this. This will be, if we last 20 years and we're doing memoirs and shit like that, we're gonna break out Chip's paper on this because almost like to the investors we got, the creators that we work with, almost everything is in there. Like there are like two differences than what he wrote. And so we just went out and like talking about like putting your vision out there and making it happen. Like Chip really did this. And I was interested in the collectible aspect of digital because I felt like that was the one thing we were really missing. Japan is like way bigger in digital at this point than in print, and we're only like 10% the size of print, maybe. After the Comixology, folks leaving Comixology over the last few years, I'm not sure we're probably even 10%. And that always bothered me because part of that is the size of the book, right? And so it's easier to read in mobile, a manga in mobile. And then on top of that, you've got the rise of Webtoon, but that's not really even counting the Webtoon channel. And I always kind of bothered me, like, how could we not figure it out? Because we thought the experience was pretty good. The shopping's just like you would do in the store. The reading experience was good on just about every device size. And the one thing that people, the really hardcore collectors kept asking for is like, where are the variant covers? I'm like, well, what do you need variant covers for? This is plentiful. Like, what do you need? And like they really hone in on like, you're missing these 2 issues from DC's run of whatever, and who knows why they're missing? Maybe because it was like completely misogynistic or like really racist or something. And so you're never going to get those couple of issues. But just the completionist mentality of it all. So anecdotally, I thought, okay, this is super interesting. Can we do this without blowing up the world in terms of energy and Bitcoin and NFTs and crap like that? What are the good parts of that we like? And can we repeat that in digital? And so I said, Chip, like, I'll come along for this ride, man, if we can play with digital a little bit on the side here and see if we've got something. And so that's how we ended up first establishing the publisher, then establishing our own digital marketplace for just our own work. And then as it became clear from the publishers that we were talking to that they had lost a lot of the revenue that they had been getting from digital over the last couple of years, a few years now, we were like, we've built this thing. Here's the opportunity. Do you want to do it? And of course, it took us, we have a catalog of publishers that probably took us 5 years to get at Comixology. It took us quite a while the first time, and we got Marvel and DC right off the bat, and there's a lot of trust in that we're working to do it right. And we added things like downloadability for licensees that allow it to make you guys feel safe, that you can keep, which ones you can keep on your local hard drive. We added the resaleability, of course, and the digital scarcity on variant covers, but always available covers, main covers for publishers that do that. And then the remarks, where you can actually put sketches and signatures on your books. And so we think that we've come across something that can really help collectors get closer to creators in a lot of ways. But we see our mission much bigger than that. We see it a lot like Comixology, like we want to meet you where you are and take you on that journey to super fandom. So you come in, don't know what you're doing, we got to be able to get you to something you like. And then up here, you're buying art and meeting people at cons.
Yeah, I think with Neon Ichiban, a lot of people get hung up like, oh, variant covers, oh, digital signatures, like, sure, that's part of it, and I think it's unique, very cool. I love it. The core buying and reading experience is bar none. Like, David created the gold standard for digital reading at Comixology. David has topped himself on Neon Ichiban. It is fantastic.
We get to do the stuff we didn't get to do, in a very different time. But starting from scratch, knowing what we know has been very helpful. But we focused first on a great reading experience. In fact, I met somebody this weekend at a bar mitzvah who thanked me for making Comixology, and I was like, "Do you know about Neon Ichiban yet?" He's like, "No, I don't." I was like, "Okay, let me comp you a few books." First of all, like, why don't you know yet? Like, we need to fix it. Second, let me give you a few distillery books because we have a publisher I can actually do that, and at no cost. And the first thing he wrote me was like, "The reading is back. Kindle's never gotten this right. They've never, because we didn't quite get it exactly right, and then they've never taken it a step further to get it exactly right. And nobody does. I don't think there's a single reader out there that is as smooth and as easy to.
It's incredibly frustrating to me. My pal Todd Allen, who called me out in this article on The Beat, so I'll call him out now. Like, he reviewed, some of the major digital comics platforms, and like no mention of the reading experience. And I think unless you have a great reading experience, you just don't have a great digital comics and manga platform. And so we have that, love that. And then we have all this other cool stuff that, they never do at Kindle, and you don't find anywhere else. The resellability. The thing I love about that is you can buy a comic for $5.99, you read it, like, I don't know if I'm going to buy issue 2. Put it up on the marketplace for $2, and then you sell it. You take that $2 that you made and buy more comics.
Other one, yeah.
It's kind of cool. And then, on the top end, we have edition numbers on every for everything that we sell. So you get edition 1 of Absolute Green Arrow, and then I bought this for cover price. Maybe I'll go to the marketplace and see if someone wants to if someone's collecting first editions of these digital comics, sell it for $10. You make, 70%? The customer, 70% of that. So,
and then we split the rest with the publisher or creator.
Yeah.
And so they're getting paid again. And if the notoriety of their work goes up, and Jock told us about this. Jock's one of the founding creators at Distillery. He was like, I'm seeing the stuff I sold for like $50 go for like thousands of dollars now. And it's kind of fun to think that I could be participating in that secondary sale in digital as my reputation grew. Yeah. There's something there.
Yeah.
There's something there that's really fun.
Yeah, so we just did some signed and sketched digital comics from Dave Gibbons. Dave is a bit older. He's not not doing as many shows as he used to, if at all. And so if you're a kid in
Paducah,
thank you. If you're a kid in Paducah, I was trying to think of like a real place in Texas, and I was like, oh no, not that.
I'm from Kentucky, buddy. So Paducah, Kentucky's great.
If you're in Paducah, Kentucky, and you're not going to travel to New York Comic Con to get a signed and sketched Watchmen from Dave Gibbons, then you can do it on Neon Ichiban, and it's yours. And then you could resell it if you wanted, or if you keep it. And we'll soon, we'll have the capability soon for people to show off their collections. I don't think I don't think that's like a newsbreaker, but yeah. And so it's really, to me, it's really not, there's an accessibility aspect for the fan, which opens up a whole new world. Because going to conventions, when I was a kid, I have this jam piece I put on Facebook, right? And I got it in 1986. And I was like a punk kid with not a lot of money. Mike Zeck's at the table, and he did a Punisher for me for free. And then Kerry Gamble's sitting next to him, and he did a Captain America looking scared. And he's like, hey, Mike, draw some bullet holes. And Mike drew some bullet holes. And then Doug Rice drew a spaceship Yamamoto with a big bullet hole in it, and Zeck did. And I didn't pay a damn thing for that. I mean, those days are over.
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't exist. And so now in that convention, I think it was $3 to get in 1986. Like, you're getting, it's a couple $100 to go to a convention, got to get a hotel room, got to travel there, got to go there. I mean, and then, no, like, I don't take any offense on this. Creators are charging for signatures. I mean, of course they are. People are getting comics signed, flipping them on eBay, getting them CGC slabbed. I'd charge for my signature. I mean, there's a whole economy now around it, and good on the creators because they're making more money at these shows than they used to. They used to show up to the show, they get their travel, get the hotel, maybe they'd sell a couple of pages, but then they'd be sketching, $5 head, $10 head, and not doing well. Now, I've seen creators make $5,000 an hour at a show doing a whatnot, event. So, so the economy's completely changed for this. And so unless you have a grip of money, it's very hard to go to one of these major shows. So for the fans, for me, it's an accessibility issue. For the creators to be able to sit and watch TV and just sign digital comics, sign like 100 digital comics, sell them for $5-10 a pop, and make 70% of that. I mean, and then make fans around the world happy and not have it be time gated. It's completely divorced from space and time now because they can do it 2:00 in the morning while they're watching shows late at night after a hard day at the drawing board. And then fans in I don't know, the Azores, Portugal could, who don't have enough money to fly, but could have enough money to get a personalized, signed and sketched thing from, Mark Russell. Maybe they're the biggest Flintstones fan in the world. I mean, that's cool.
Yeah. Absolutely. The accessibility of it all is really there, and it's definitely like you have all the the abilities, if we would call it. You know, you have the accessibility, you have readability, you have, you know, collectability, because now you've added a collector's portion into all of this. And I think that's one of the biggest things digital was missing, was a collectability feature, because, you know, you don't have that same joy as holding the book and like adding it to your collection, etc. But now you have that, because with the remark system, with all of the variant covers, with the editions, you can get all of that. With all of that being said, though, you know, and you guys are doing so much revolutionary things with it, what has been like your biggest challenge doing this format? What is facing it, other than people just
not enough time in the day?
it?
Too many ideas. It is so much easier now to get these ideas out the door. So just not enough time in the day.
Biggest challenge is making sure that the uniqueness is 100%. Like, we've verified this creator is actually doing this thing. They put their hand to screen with their pencil or whatever, Apple Pencil, and, you know, making sure that all the history of those items stay uniquely, you know, attached to them without using blockchain and that type of thing. You know, that it works. What I love is that it shows up in your library. When you hit the read button, it shows up as the cover of your book in your reader. If you have a downloadable version of it, it downloads with it intact, right? So you've taken it, in essence, taken out, when you download a book with us, if it is a resellable book, you can't resell it. Obviously, you've now removed it from the platform, although you can continue to read it on the platform. You just can't sell it. You know, making sure all that stuff works is a big deal, you know? And I could see a future, and I'm not announcing a feature, but I could see a future where, like, you know, first of all, we have like the highest resolution files that anyone's ever delivered on these things, and so they look amazing. They're definitely printable in terms of the originals that we get delivered. Like, could I see a future of like printing to like you know, a canvas or something? I don't know. It could be interesting, but yeah, it's that's probably the thing that keeps me up, is like, we have to make sure that you're getting the thing that you purchased.
And like I said, getting people to understand that, like, as far as like the process is really helpful. Like, because you can see different videos. I mean, I know for us, when we were at New York Comic Con last year, we got to be at the panel and see in real time people doing remarks. So like, you could actually see the process as it happens. You're like, oh, okay, like that makes it real. And I know that there's different like videos and stuff like that showing that this is what's happening, because like you said, that is a challenge to like make sure people know that what they're paying for, what they want, is what they're actually getting. But once you get past that, like, it's phenomenal. Like, it was really cool to see that in real time. I've never thought in my life I could actually watch like an artist just draw in real time. Like, not, you know, we've done it like physically in person, but over like making me something like, I'm like, that's just tremendous though. Like, and like you said, with accessibility, you might be from some small town somewhere in the Midwest or some remote place on the planet, and you might not have the opportunity to meet your favorite artist, and here you can. And that's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's just something else with Neon Ichiban that stands out from any other platform right now in the digital market, is the emphasis on community. Because what you're doing is you're tapping into the fan base, but not as so much of a business format, but trying to grow a community based around the business, if that makes sense. Because what you do with the remarks, and especially now what you're doing with the review aspect too, inviting fans to do reviews and doing a little kickback about that. Can you break down that experience or that format for us?
Yeah. Again, doing all the stuff we didn't get to do. We have sketches from like 2015 with some of this stuff. And I don't know if you've left a review and used the editor, but like, you know, I was always really impressed with Facebook in terms of like typing out a post. When you start typing somebody's name, suddenly the icon with their name pops up and you can click it and it'll be a link to them. I wanted that for us. You have to do an @ symbol, but an @ symbol will bring you up series, publishers, creators, and then it links to those people. Now you can imagine going further than that and having questions and answers, lists, guides, you know, favorites.
That'd be really cool to have all that.
Wouldn't it be cool to have all those little pieces?
It would be
Super kind of posts, you know, and the beauty of linking to all that stuff. I think there's just something super accessible. Again, it creates accessibility. It creates a place where people can go like, I don't know how to start with Supergirl. Help me out. And somebody who knows what they're doing in the editor can put up a link list that is bar none, you know, and explain why they think those things are valuable. Not only is that great for the business in terms of having really cool content that might surface in a, you know, ChatGPT now, I guess, and in Google, but it also just, you know, comics people have always loved to get other people into it. It feels like I mean, I say that, and I know that can be arguable in a comic shop sometimes, or I think that's a lot less now. But in terms of, I think we've always felt put upon in some ways. You know, like you don't get how awesome this is. You just don't get it. You don't. You know, you make fun of me for liking comics as a kid. Like, too bad, you don't get it.
But the coolest thing. Sorry to interrupt, David. The coolest thing right now is that we did a giveaway on Xbox to their Ultimate Game Pass subscribers. We collaborated with DC, and we gave Absolute Batman #1 away. Mostly new comic readers. So if you go to Neon Ichiban right now, and you go to Absolute Batman #1, it's one of our best review titles. And you'll see all these people like, oh, this new Batman is so crazy. This Alfred, I love it. I mean, it's so fantastic to see these people discover this new medium that they obviously have not tried before. And so, you know, it is, the review stuff that was really a real light bulb moment for David and I, talking about different things that we could do and how to incentivize. Because, you know, it's very hard. The social media world is fractured.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Like the whole comics industry was very active on Twitter at one point. Now they are not. A lot of those people went over to Blue Sky, but a lot of people are now on Instagram. There's some people, you know, so the conversations are so balkanized right now. And so we really wanted to have a home for conversations about the books. And, you know, back 19 years ago, when I was at Boom Studios, and I was the marketing guy and sending out review copies of the comics. You know, I could send them out and they'd be on blogs and people would review it. And then you'd have like 20 or 30 comments on a blog that didn't have a lot of traffic. And you'd get a feel like, oh, this is how the customer is responding. Now, if I see a comment on a review, like it's I feel like I'm going to get struck by lightning.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it just doesn't exist. And you guys know what I'm talking about.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. And they're short. That's why I made the thing. And they're short. Like if you have a comment, it's always like either I agree or just, and it's weird. It's just a small, just like, oh, that's cool. Or emoji.
Right.
That's the other one.
And it makes me sad. Part of that is like, you know, you had the blogosphere, then you had social media. Now we're like in the post social media. So anyway, for the viewers that don't know, we're in the process of giving away up to $10,000 worth of comics, and you can every person doing a review, if it's not a negative, there's a process where people can vote it down if it's not awesome. And not that it's negative, but some people like 2-word. We don't want to give 50 cents to people doing a 2-word review. But anyway, if you do 10 reviews, you can get $5.
That's an amazing deal. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So no purchase necessary. Go on Neon Ichiban, find 10 comics that you've read. You know, they could be 10, 20, 30, 40 years old, you know, and do a review. Get $5 credit. Buy the new Absolute Green Arrow by, you know, my pals Pornsack and Rafa.
Yeah, it's a great, and once again, it goes back to, like I said, and I think one of the things that I think the two things that my takeaway of revolutionizing, and kind of we just talked about it, is A, you figured out a way to bring the comic book shop to the online experience, which that was missing. So I think that was one of the things, because the comic community goes to the comic shop so that way they can talk to other people and get it out there. Now with doing reviews and making comments, you can still have that convenience of talking to other fans and talking about what you love without leaving your house. The other thing that you mentioned earlier, I think is really, really cool, is when the marketplace, because not only can you sell something and get something back, but you're also doing something that nobody else has been able to do in the secondary market. And being somebody who is attached to a game store and everything else, like I am, the secondary market's huge, but usually the people who make the stuff don't get a kickback, neither do the publishers. So like if you're going in, and I'm just going to take from my experience, if you're going in and you're buying and selling Magic the Gathering cards, Wizards of the Coast does not get a cut of what you come out of that shop. The shop gets all the cut. Whereas what you're doing here is not only does the seller get their money back, but also the creative team and the publisher are getting a kickback too, which is pretty revolutionary. How important was that when you guys were launching that?
Let me just break in. I just need you guys to be our hype men from now on. I feel so seen right now. Oh my God.
Seriously.
Yeah. I mean, I'm tearing up. I'm tearing up. I feel seen.
Well, it's the truth, though. I mean, this is what we watch as the outside looking in, and this is what we're seeing. And this is like what you two have done with the team that you have, is like, this is what's revolutionizing how we're looking at digital comics, which, as much as we love going to the shops, and we do on Wednesdays and so forth through the week, there is that aspect of translating that to the digital world, which has been so hard to do until now, and what you started doing there.
Well, I don't mind pre-announcing something, because it probably will be live by the time this goes live. And that is that we are extending out the community portion to include questions, lists, all the stuff, like lists like you see on Letterboxd, like this is the top 10 thing of XYZ, here are the stuff you need to do, with all those kinds of links. I do think, like, you know, one of the things that we have always focused on, Chip and I, wherever we are, is understanding the entire ecosystem. And one of the reasons Comixology was successful early on is because we started as a service to see what was coming out on Wednesday before there was digital. And then we added on retailer tools where they could make pull lists. And then we added on digital, because Marvel and DC were saying, like, we can't destroy comic book stores. We've already had Marvel go bankrupt in the late 1990s.
Yeah.
And that was a big, ball of hurt. And we don't want to do that again by undercutting our stores by going digital too quickly or not controlling the pricing. You had digital guys out there saying, like, comics need to be like songs. They need to be 99 cents no matter what. Like, okay, well, that's never going to happen. And so understanding that the publishers had this collectible that was super important, this first window of sales with comic book stores, we were just like, you set the price. We won't set the price. You do it. That's fine. That's fine. We'll learn together. That's great. And also that they were so concerned about the retailers that we created these retail storefronts that retailers could put up a digital storefront and earn 30% of our margin and Marvel's margin and the other publishers' margins that joined that to make money. In the same way, I think that we learned so much more going to Amazon, and Chip was in charge of our Comixology Originals program and did an incredible job and gained the respect of creators just by being a good human being and, like, calling them back and talking to them. And so coming out of that, saying, like, how do we make these guys more money? They don't make enough. Most of them don't make enough money. How do we expand that? How do we get them the fans close to the creators? How do we think about the retailers again? I don't know if you know this, but we have this thing called FOC rewards.
Yep.
Yeah, and just to explain it to the listeners or watchers, well, Chip, it's your baby. Why don't you explain it?
Yeah, so FOC rewards. So we have a handful of comics. All the Distillery comics have gone up there, but a handful of Oni and Ablaze, and we're talking to other publishers about participating. And it basically, if you've pre-ordered one of these comics, you go to FOC rewards, you select the comic that you already pre-ordered at your local shop. You say, like, hey, I pre-ordered this. You send in the verification. We have a manual verification process right now. And then once I hit verify, you get $2.50 credit towards a digital comic. Then when the comic comes out, we just need you to take a picture of the comic in the store. You've already selected the store that you're purchasing from, and we use the geolocation data on the picture to prove that you bought it, and you get another $2.50. So it's a great way to help publishers engage, with the retail stores and hype, doing pre-orders before FOC, and it's a great way for us to support the community and also, have people buy more comics.
Yeah, and so that's just another example of thinking about the whole and the pieces that make it work. And it's just a very strange thing, again, to go back to Japan, like they're not a collector society in manga. They've become more a collector society of the volumes that are hard to get or that type of thing, but they're not. And they're generally a collector society, and they love toy collections and random games and that give you figurines and stuff like that. But it was a reading culture. It was printed on newsprint, and people left them on the subways when they were still doing a lot of print. When they were done reading it, it just wasn't. It didn't become this singular 22-page thing that needed to be in plastic and be taken care of. It did here, and so there are some weirdnesses to the market that you can't just charge in and say 99 cents. Now, I will say like $5, $6. That's hard on digital, because it is about the printing and the distribution, and that's what makes it so expensive. But again, like, we're not here to destroy, we're here to build, and hopefully a new channel for creators with the signatures and that type of thing, and get fans close to creators and continue to support the retailers. Because, by the way, we make all our money in print on Dstlry. We're not making all our money in digital yet. I mean, we'd love to do that, but we love it. You can tell we love the object, right? I mean, you guys know we love the object that is the comic book.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, well, you can tell. I mean, just throwing it out to the Dstlry portion of this. I mean, you guys do a wonderful job making these beautiful books with these beautiful bindings, and so obviously you're taking care to make something quality that you want somebody to actually physically have as well. But I think it goes hand in hand, because you can still go get that beautiful thing that's physical and there and collect. And as a matter of fact, this is kind of like peek behind the curtain. We've talked about this before, being somebody, that reviews comic books. And I know, Chip, you were talking about this earlier, because it hasn't changed much. Most of, not all, most of the comic books we review come to us in PDF form. So we are already reading digital comics. Honestly, they need to partner with Neon Ichiban, because let's throw this out there, and it would be a lot easier to read sometimes. Just throwing it out there. Wait, I see the things going. Give me 1 second though, But my point is that because we're reading these things digitally and we're reviewing, that means when I go to the comic shop and I buy my books, most of them I've already read, so they go right into the plastic, which, like you said, is kind of weird. It goes right into my collection. Never been opened. Never been touched, never been, and there are certain books that I still actually read through and stuff, but I collect certain things as a collector, and that's the cool part. And I mean, they can go hand in hand. You can have both. You don't have to just have one world.
Well, I mean, I always kind of refer it back to like when MP3s were just coming out, and like the days of like Napster, and then everybody was downloading music early, but then people were also setting record sales for million opening weeks at the CD stores, for going out and buying albums. It's like everybody gets to experience that. But it doesn't matter like how you're experiencing it. But if you're going back and like for us, like we'll go read something digitally and go out and buy it physically, because we love to do that for comics that we really are enjoying and supporting it. And it's just one of those fortunate things that if somebody has the means to do it, digitally is the only way to do it. You're making it very accessible for them to still be part of that community. And that's the thing that I think is ultimately what Neon Ichiban's backbone is drives home the community aspect, especially with how you're also trying to grow the community with the comic shops and getting people down there to go to the FOCs. Because if fans don't realize how important and vital that is, that giving the incentive for them is just more, drive to get there and really keep that industry going, because it all goes back to the shops, it goes back to the creators, goes back to the publishers, and it goes back to the marketplace. And when you have everything churning in, such a full fashion, it's a win for everybody across the board.
Yeah. That's the goal for sure.
Looking at what you've done, and you've done a lot with Neon Ichiban already, has there been any thought about doing exclusive comics to the platform?
You mean like covers that are exclusive?
Not its covers. I'd say like maybe like certain issues that are only exclusive to Neon Ichiban.
Well, the distillery line is only available digitally on Neon Ichiban, and I think the focus right now is with the established publishers. I mean, we're doing a lot of new things, right? We're doing variant covers, we're doing signed and sketched, and so getting that to a critical mass, I think, is very important. And I think Dave and I have definitely talked about, we need to have a way for people that are creating digitally and only digitally to be able to put stuff up on the platform. But that's not like super soon.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think it is important. I think Webtoon shows you that if you make something open and allow people to put stuff up, they're going to put up stuff that you never imagined in our market, right? And so accessibility, diversity wise, it's pretty critical. We just want to get ourselves established first.
Let's have some fun questions. Let's do a little bit of fun here.
They've all been fun so far.
Well,
Okay,
yeah,
perfect.
I mean, thank you.
Thank you.
I mean, we appreciate that, and of course, so we love it. It is really, it's funny when you said earlier about being hype men. It's because we actually use the platform and we actually enjoy the platform.
Yes.
So once again, it's easy. And that makes my job easy because it's a little harder when I have to come here and be like, oh, wait a minute, we were talking about that. So trust me, it's not that. But let's have a little fun and let's talk about. We talked about remarks. We talked about them a ton. If both of you could give any remark, what would it be and from what creator? And I mean all time. We'll take everything, and put it out there.
Well, for me, it's going to be somebody that doesn't have any. I guess maybe we have some stuff of his on the platform from Dark Horse. This beauty right here, this painting, that's Matt Wagner. That's from Mage, the Hero Discovered. That's the volume two, I think.
Yeah, volume 2 of the Starblaze Graphics Collected Edition.
Huge painted piece. Matt is the reason I'm into comics. I picked up Mage, the first comic I ever picked up alongside a Spider-Man. And that was it, man. It was over for me, and I just love him. And I've had I think it was Grendel was on the app in the first round. He actually called me on my birthday to say yes, he was going to do it, get it on there. Really, just a special. That's my fan. My holy grail person. He's just super important to me.
Oh man, there's just so I can't choose just.
Come on.
I can't choose just one. And you stole like Steinberger and I are huge.
Passion, apparently, yeah.
Yeah. When Steinberger saw my original Grendel and Mage pages, he got really mad at me. And then he bought some himself. So now he topped me with his painted one. So I have a Grendel page from Primer #2.
Man.
And a Mage, Mirth and Kevin from Mage #5, but you have a Mage page from like number 2.
One.
Number 1. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
See, topper. He's a topper. So
come on, you got to come up with a couple then. Tell us.
Oh, Matt Wagner would be great. It'd be fun to get Mike Zeck to sign a Secret Wars #1.
You know what? There are a couple of remarks that Becky has done, Becky Clunan, that are available on the marketplace and have been way longer than they should be. And she did a set of 3 skulls. I know one of them sold. I don't know if the other 2 are still up, but yeah. I'm going to say by Tuesday. But before this comes out, I'm buying one of those if it doesn't get sold.
Yeah,
because they are treasures.
Yeah, we have some great ones. We gave a bunch away. We did a promo when we first started. I think we gave like 300 away. Yeah. So people, people are sitting on them, and soon they'll have a way to show them off to the world.
As somebody that has an absolute Batman 15, yes, I will say I'm definitely happy with mine. So, true
That's
story.
Cool.
Definitely go
That's
check
cool.
that out.
Yeah, Batman 15 signed by Jock himself.
Yeah, and that was the first one where people started going like, "Oh, I put all because we do little, we put a little watermark on it so that only the owner can see it without a watermark, but you can see it. pretty well. Somebody stacked all of them and said, "Holy shit, these signatures are all different." It's like, yeah, that's the whole point. They're all different. He really did it. He really signed these. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just another great thing about it too. Like it has that personal connection. Like when you go to a con and you meet a creator, and the one-on-one that you have, I mean, it's just done digitally, but it still feels the same. And that, I think that's just such an important factor too.
Are you gonna be at San Diego?
No, we'll be at New York though.
Okay, I'm not sure what we'll do in New York. At San Diego, our whole booth is signing this year.
Oh,
we don't plan New York Comic Con until after San Diego.
Completely understandable too. Completely understandable.
The New York Comic Con planning begins the Tuesday after San Diego.
Oh man, but yeah,
San Diego needs its time to recover. Like, you know.
Oh my god,
no doubt. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, you can. I don't think we explained it here yet, but you can go to your collection, bring up a QR code, and have it signed. Have your copy signed in front of you.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's even more wild.
So the creator just takes the iPad, scans the code, it pops up the cover. They can sign it. They press save, and seconds later, it's the cover.
That's incredible.
Wow, that's even better, because now you're taking the accessibility and then you're moving it even into the personal meeting, and it's even more wild.
I'm right. They gave me an idea, Steinberger. We got to talk afterwards.
we go. Hopefully.
So I know we haven't had a lot of time to talk about Dstlry yet, but you're coming into year number 3. What has been for each of you your favorite moment thus far on that whole Dstlry journey?
When we got the Devil's Cut in our hands, I actually cried. It was. I had no idea I was going to be so attached to. Because I didn't create these things. My wife and I did help put together the orders so they fit on the amount of pages we had. That's about the, and I might have criticized the design element, but for the most part, it's the creators, of course, that do this, and that's what you want to put the spotlight. And they made such a, the whole idea of it from the very beginning was a statement book. Like, this is what you're getting into if you're getting into Dstlry. Really incredible covers, really nice paper, great stock, finishes, but more importantly, really cutting edge, interesting stories that the creators have really poured their hearts into it. And we got these 14, 15 something founding creators as part of it, and they all participated in the book, plus some of their friends. And having that come together in such a short period of time, Chip was like, I don't want to do an anthology. We'll never get it done. It's too hard. Because, obviously working on one book with a few people is one thing, but working on one book with 10 times that amount of people is totally different level of organization. But having
everyone do 4 pages, and then people go, I needed 6. I needed 8.
And they're like,
it was a 48-page book, then it was 56. Then it was 64, and it was like,
and they were like, well, isn't this what Dstlry is about, you guys? And we're like, okay, feed us back our own words, fine, yeah, totally. So you'll see if you go back to the book, you'll find divider pages like scattered throughout, and sometimes it's just the end of one story and the beginning of another one, but sometimes it's a divider page, and of course you have to get the left and right pages right for what they wrote for. So sometimes it's a spread that started it. And sometimes it's just the right page, like a normal Marvel comic. You start with one page and you do a turn right away. And there was, believe it or not, one of the biggest challenges was like making it fit in the right amount of pages and just sneaking these pages in where we needed them. But I think the book stands up. Yeah, I really love a lot of the stories. So many of them came. They were the intro.
David and I are happy to sign them on the NET.
Yeah, we actually had somebody ask us to sign them at San Diego. I was like, sure. Why not? And so yeah, like I think it's Gone and Spectrograph and
Somna,
the World of Somna.
Yeah.
Lots of the stories started there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a super cool moment. And then the first book out of the gate. I mean, just having talked to Jock and his longtime editor Will for forever, and knowing Jock wanted to do something, completely original, written and drawn all by all him. Mm-hmm. And then like talking about the idea, having him be first out of the gate, really sticking his neck out. and then that first issue coming out, and it's just it's a masterclass in visual storytelling.
100%.
You know, was amazing.
I mean, that even says, because we met, we had the pleasure and privilege of meeting with Jock when it was coming out, and that was the first time I ever held a distillery book. I still have it, actually. I was moving things around, and I have a home studio, and it was the first time that I actually like he gave us a copy, and I'm just like holding it, and I'm like, wow, this is like completely different. Love the size, love the paper, love, like it was like almost like your first comic book all over again. It was kind of strange, like in a way. And the only reason I bring it up is you're saying this, I literally was changing my home studio and just found my copy. It was with my graphic novels, and I was like, it all again. I was like, I remember this moment. Like it all came back. Yeah, it was. It's fantastic.
I know, like same thing when I picked up the Devil's Cut the first time and read it and was like, holy, like this is what I've been looking for as a fan, because I love that it is the closest reminder at the time of DC Vertigo. And I love the stories, and I love the risk taking that was going on then. And to see it now in a whole different light and where the stories were going in the Devil's Cut. And there is a lot of things that were going on in that book, but it knocked me out as a reader, because I'm sitting there going like, this is what I want to see in comics. This is bold. This is daring. This is pushing boundaries. This isn't the same old stuff that we see every week. And to see where it's gone, I mean, that is why this brand it has been the buzz that it has been when we hear about books coming out, because it's fearless in delivery and fearless in execution.
Yeah, I think I super appreciate you saying that. I think when we started out, you know, we had a couple of things in mind. Not that I really talked about this at the time, but David and I spent a lot of time in France at Comixology, and no one in America wants to hear like, oh, these books were inspired by France. So we didn't really embrace that as a selling point. But in the French comics market, you know, you have the bande dessinée, the BD albums, and they're magazine size. They come out, if they're a series, they come out like, you know, maybe twice a year. They're 20 euros. They're 48 to 64 pages. They're, you know, they really showcase the art. And that was a real inspiration to both of us, because we love that format so much, and it showcased the art and the visual storytelling of sequential art is kind of what it's all about, right? Mm-hmm. So taking that and then just looking at the market and seeing, you know, as the price has crept up, you know, the paper quality has gone down, just delivering some. We came in and promoted this as more of a luxury high-end brand, but really, you know, at the core of it, there's so much value, because at $8.99 for 48 pages of oversized storytelling, you're getting way more value as a fan than to 24 page, 22 page, 20 page, you know, $5 single issues. It's funny because you know, one of my touchstone moments as a fan, and a funny retail story before, you know, probably a year or so before I started working at a comic shop. My parents somehow let me subscribe to Rolling Stone magazine, which was really not smart on their part, because I was too young. But they had a big article on Frank Miller and Dark Knight, and so I'm like, this is going to be big. I'm buying 2 copies. I'm gonna read one, gonna bag and board one, and so I go to the store, and it was $2.99, and I bought 2 copies, took it up. Was shopping at the Silver Penny in the Mini Maxi Mall on Gessner and I-10 in Houston, Texas. And Keith, I'll never forget his name, he was like, these are $2.99 a piece. Why are you buying 2 of these? Yeah. And I was like, well, I'm going to read one. He's like, you're dumb. I'm like, thanks, man. Thanks. Appreciate it. I did very well off the deal. But if you look at inflation, $2.99 right now, $2.99 back in 1986 is worth $8.50 today.
Wow.
So if Dark Knight #1 came out today, it would have been priced $8.50. And so, people talk about there's a whole contingent of people in comics that complain about stuff that makes my head explode. Complain about collecting, the price. The prices have not kept up with inflation at all. And so I think the distillery books, there's just a ton of value in it, and so we wanted to just deliver just the best quality, most value, just packed for the fans, and I think we succeeded.
Absolutely.
I can't agree more. I think it overly succeeded, and it's definitely there. It's definitely worth the value. I like I said, I love the format, love how the bigger books, and like you can't beat it's an act format. You have three books, boom. It works out almost too perfectly.
Yeah.
Almost too perfectly.
So we'll end on one final question for you, because obviously we've talked a lot about distillery. We've talked a lot about Neon Ichiban. If you have to make one recommendation for our audience to go to Neon Ichiban for any distillery title, what do you recommend they go check out in Neon Ichiban?
Oh man, that's not fair. Like, I would want to know what they're into, because one of the things is, and people gave us shit for it, but you liked Endeavor, right? You're enjoying Endeavor.
Yes.
Well, most publishers would have said, no, we can't do Endeavor, Stephanie. I know you love this idea, but we have a boat book. It's called White Boat. I'm not shitting you. People are like, you can't have two boat books out at the same time. And so we go for whatever genre is the creator's interested in. We were going for the stuff that other people may not let them tell the stories of. They don't think it's commercial enough. And so, I really want to know, like, are you into a space epic? Well, that's gone, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think we have got several horror books, so picking one is hard, but like Spectre Drive, I think, is super special. The art is so stunning. It's so good for the format. And so for me, again, because I think in this idea of like the spectrum of like, you're a beginner fan, we need to make you a super fan. How do we get you from here to there? I'd want to know first, like, what are you into? What shows do you watch? What books do you read if you're reading books? How do I match that?
That's fair enough, because there is a little bit of everything there. I mean, you even have romance, because like I White House Robot Romance is on there. I was the person who was reviewing that as well. So like it's kind of like a little bit of everything, a little taste for everybody.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just going to limit myself to the stuff this year. I think Mischief of Magpies, which is coming out July 15th. There's a free ash can on Neon Ichiban, and you can read Mischief of Magpies. And then when it comes out in stores, you can buy it in print, or you can buy it on Neon Ichiban. We just want you to buy it. And if also a Galactic issue 2 is coming out July 29th. Issue 1 is available on Neon Ichiban. White House Robot Romance by Chip Zdarsky is fantastic. Galactic is Kurt Piers and Amilcar Pinna. Rachel Stott's the artist on White House Robot Romance. Can't forget the artist. Sorry, I mangled that. And Mischief Magpies is Simon Spurrier and Matthias Bergera. So all three of those are fantastic. Not to mention Endeavor, which we're just wrapping up.
Yeah.
See, I always say the correct answer for this is The Devil's Cut. Because if anybody is
that was too easy. When we just talked about it for 10 minutes. I thought about it, and
But see, here's why. If you read The Devil's Cut, you're going to get a small taste of what distillery is bringing to the table. And trust me, you're going to find at least one story in there that you're going to gravitate to. And it's going to send you down the rabbit hole of the fantastic titles they've had coming out. And if you are not familiar with what they have coming out in 2026, they have a loaded lineup that you need to get in your collection, because if you want something that is fearless, and I say this a lot involving this line, but that's the truth, because the creators really take it some levels that you haven't seen in mainstream comics, because you're going to get something that stands out on the shelves, and it's going to be a presentation that you haven't seen before. And it's going to excite you as a fan to get involved with what they have going on. And then that's why you go on Neon Ichiban and you can go get those books along with going to the comic shops and doing it. It's a win-win combination that makes you a better fan and grows that community. Chip and David, thank you so much for coming on the show. We definitely have to talk to you again later this year.
Really appreciate the time.
Yeah,
and
thank you so much, guys.
Thanks a lot.
It's fantastic.
Thank you. On behalf of Rich and myself, thank you again for checking out another edition of Fanlight Zone Presents. We'll see you next time.